What's up, everybody? We back up in here. It's Hella Flagrant, the podcast. It's your main man, Hella Flagrant DM. I'm in here with my brother, Sean B. Flagrant. Summertime, we had to stop in and do a little NBA all-season update. Sean B., what's going on with you, brother?
Oh, man, I'm always good. Voice trying to sound like shit right now, but no big deal. We here, got to bring the NBA offseason to you, man. Don't matter if my throat hurts or not, man. Got to bring it to you.
Yeah, so, as everybody knows by now, NBA offseason has been absolutely crazy. I mean, we talked about it at the end of the finals. We knew that this offseason was going to be one that was going to shake up the league. I don't think anybody was prepared for some of the things that happened. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to start off from the top with the biggest news, I think, that shook up really the end of free agency. Kind of the biggest news was Kawhi going to the LA Clippers and bringing Paul George with him. Now, we all knew Kawhi was going to be on the move. Like, that was a big thing. But to bring Paul George with him, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. No, because, okay, so first of all, I was in LA last Friday when all this went down. Earthquake, 2 earthquakes, big earthquakes hit.
Yep.
Didn't know what it was. Found out later it was Kawhi Leonard joining the Los Angeles Clippers and bringing Paul George with him. Now, you probably ask yourself, how the hell did this happen? I don't know. I have no clue. But somehow, some way, they talked to Paul George. He went to the OKC, the Thunder, and basically told him he wanted to trade, he wanted to leave, he wanted to go to Clippers. I don't know why in the hell that Sam Presti would just allow him to tell him where he wanted to go. But I guess he figured, hey, like, if he wants to leave, I don't want this whole Anthony Davis saga like they had last year in New Orleans to happen. So let me just go ahead and let him go where he wants to go. They did get 5 draft picks back. Also, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari's contract. So, I mean, I guess they kind of won, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't matter. Kawhi Leonard, NBA All-Star, not even All-Star, NBA champion. Sorry, my bad. NBA champion, Kawhi Leonard, board man, gets paid, is now a Los Angeles Clipper. He's not a Los Angeles Laker. So dead all that shit about y'all talking about, oh, he might go to Lakers. He's not going to the Lakers. He's not.
And in my mind, he never was. I said that from the beginning. I had a strong feeling he was not going to return to the Raptors. I didn't know exactly where he was going to land, but my thought was that he was going to the Clippers. And I thought that he was going to try to drag Klay Thompson with him. If Klay Thompson was healthy, that probably would have been a real argument. You know what I mean? That may have been something that was a factor. Klay Thompson getting hurt forced the Warriors' hand to put out that max deal, and he went ahead and signed that max deal with the Warriors right away. No problem, which thank you, Klay. Love you. Happy you staying. And so Kawhi needed the Clippers to go find another superstar for him to be able to come there and be able to feel like he's going to be successful at the Clippers. I think he used the LA Lakers meeting to force the Clippers' hand. Like, I don't even think he ever intended to really sign with the Lakers. I think it was him saying, listen, I have the power. I'm still going to take these meetings, but LA Clippers, this is where I want to be. And so I want y'all to do whatever it is y'all got to do. And I'm going to force y'all hand by going over here that where 2 superstars are in Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You know what I mean? And they still have the money to sign me as a Kawhi. I'm going to go over here and take this meeting and make you guys put some more chips on the table to be able to go get me another superstar.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a setup from the jump. I think he had in his mind he was going to go to Clippers from before he won the championship. I think what happened was, like you said, he forced the Lakers' hand, or he basically forced the Clippers' hand, I should say, by using the Lakers. But I figured that he knew that the Lakers would talk. He knew that they would say different things. He knew it would be in the media. As soon as the Lakers had any type of notion that they might get a chance with him, they were going to say everything about it and make a big deal out of it. So behind the scenes, he asked, from what I hear, KD, he asked Kyrie. He finally got a hold of Paul George to get him to come back. I guess he was tired of dealing with Russ Westbrook over in OKC. And he made it happen behind the scenes. That's why it took so long for it to come out, because he was trying to orchestrate this thing from the beginning. It never was
Yeah.
about LA. It never, unfortunately, was about Toronto for everybody in Toronto. I'm sorry, Drake.
Nah,
It wasn't going to happen for you. It wasn't.
It wasn't. And he did what he had to do in Toronto. You know what I'm saying? We said that again at the end of the finals. Like he did what he had to do. You know what I mean? And that was go out there, play as hard as he could. He won a title for the team that he was on. He beat whoever he was in front of.
Right.
And you know what I mean? He won finals MVP and he put on for Toronto. Excuse me. Now, sad to say, Toronto, you may never sniff the conference finals again. I mean, it's going to be a while before you guys even like smell something this close. And I feel for you. You feel me? But at the end of the day, the man did what he had to do. He never really wanted to be there. And so in all fairness, it was his right to go where he wanted to go. And it was just crazy that he was able to pull Paul George, who had just signed a humongous deal in OKC, over to the Clippers with him. So not to stay on that topic too long, but looking at the Clippers moving forward, you got Kawhi, you got Paul George, you obviously have Pat Beverly, you've got Montrezl Harrell, your favorite guy in the play. You've got Lou Will coming off the bench. Are the Clippers a formidable opponent? I know Vegas put them up in the odds to win the championship mainly because Kawhi moved over there. But are the Clippers a real formidable opponent now?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, I would say yes for sure. I don't see anybody being able to deal with that front line of Pat Beverly, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. I mean, that's probably the best three defenders you can get on the perimeter in the whole entire league. Now, shooting might be a little bit of an issue. Kawhi is spotty at times. I mean, he's a great scorer. I don't want to say he's a great shooter. Same thing with Paul George. I think he's a little bit better of a shooter than Kawhi is, but on the same sense, he's more of a scorer. We know about Lou Will, what he can do off the bench. So, I mean, off the bench, I think they'll be great too. I mean, you can't count them out. They're with Kawhi Leonard, they're probably one of the top teams going forward. I still would put the Lakers up there with all the moves that they made in free agency after the fact that they did not get Kawhi Leonard. They wound up, rounding out their team a little bit more. They got big Boogie Cousins. I'm laughing only because, I mean, if you know me as a Warriors fan, I had a little bit of a problem with Boogie last year, some issues. But, I mean, on the real, Boogie is a hell of a player when he gets himself right. So, I mean, you have that threat. You also have Danny Green, a shooter off the bench. I mean, not the bench. He might start. Kuzma, of course, is still there. Rondo. The Avery Bradley signing, I think, was a huge deal because, I mean,
Jared Dudley.
Who?
Did they get Jared Dudley?
Oh, that's what I thought you said. No, we're not worried about him, but he's still a player, I guess. But my point is, JaVale's back. There you go.
You got JaVale, Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. Yeah. No. Okay. Anyway, my point is, they are. The LA, basically what I'm trying to say is LA is probably where is ruling the top. I don't really know which one is the best right now. I hate to say this, what I'm saying? Obviously, being from the Bay Area, I mean, we're born to hate LA only because of the geographical distance. But, I mean, the Lakers and the Clippers right now on paper look like the two best teams in the NBA. We have to wait and see how it shakes up, of course.
No, wait. Forget all that. Wait to see how it shakes out. Right now, your money, if you had to put $100 on somebody right now as it sits on paper without seeing a preseason game, who you got?
Without seeing a preseason game? Damn. I guess I'd probably still take the Lakers. Yeah, I mean, me just personally.
I would too. It's too much talent. I mean, I'm looking at matchups and I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying, where you say scoring and shooting. AD, LeBron, Kuzma. Again, if Boogie is 80% of what he normally is, you know what I'm saying? even the train didn't want to hear that. They was like, nah, we're not going to take Boogie being at anything. He's
my bad.
But I still look at the Lakers to reign as no pun intended, but the kings of LA. When it comes to basketball for this season at least. So we'll look at that. Other moves in NBA free agency, big moves. The Brooklyn Nets are now home to both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, formerly of our Golden State Warriors.
And so, DeAndre Jordan, don't forget DeAndre.
Oh, yeah. They put DeAndre Jordan to put in a big three. Everybody else has got these powerful twos.
They have a legit big three.
They have a sort of legit big three.
A 2 1/4.
Yeah. We'll call it that for now. But much in respect to the way the Kawhi decision was made, where a lot of attention was given to Kawhi and the NBA world and pretty much the sports world, because not a lot else was going on at the time, unless you're a women's soccer fan or a women's tennis fan. Not a lot else was going on in sports at the moment. So the whole sports world was kind of bracing for the Kawhi decision. A lot of power was given to Kawhi in that decision, right? Holding a lot of chips in his hand. Kevin Durant, in the same respect, just up and went on Instagram and said he's going to be on the Brooklyn Nets. He didn't even tell the Brooklyn Nets. Like, he didn't even call the team that he's going to be on and say, hey, I'm coming to play for y'all. He just said, hey, Instagram, I'm going to be a Brooklyn Net.
Right. I mean, look, Warriors fans, I'm just going to be honest with you. He never wanted to be here, at least last year, in terms of, being with this team. I'm just going to be honest.
No.
Now, I don't mean like he didn't want to be with Golden State in terms of he didn't want to play last year. I just meant that he had already had a decision made up by last year. No matter what he might have said, no matter what nobody else has said in the organization, it didn't matter. He wanted to leave. He wanted to leave probably last year before at the parade. He had no intentions to come back to Golden State as long as everything went the way it was supposed to go. Now, we can count the Draymond situation. I honestly don't think that had that much of an effect in terms of him staying here. I figured that was just the icing on the cake. I figured he was already going to go, so don't, maybe Draymond pushed him away. Trust me, Draymond probably pushed him away long before that. Right. It had nothing to do with that one issue. Right. Now, him and Kyrie, we'll see what happens. Obviously Kyrie does his thing, dribbling all over the place 1,000,000 times. So we'll see if KD can deal with that. Obviously, it didn't work with him and Russ. It worked with him and Steph. He didn't like it. So let's see what happens with his friend Kyrie. Now, shout out to the Brooklyn Nets for taking over New York. I'll say that. The fact that New York Knicks did nothing in free agency.
Nothing.
They signed to.
You still have a chance. Russell Westbrook is taking calls, though. You got a chance.
Well, it's funny because I just read a report that Marcus Morris now is rescinding his offer.
Yeah, with the Spurs.
The Spurs to go play with the Knicks. Like, are you sure you really want to do that? Like, think about your life. Like, you have enough money where you can travel to New York at any time. Don't go play for that terrible franchise. I'm sorry. Like, James Dolan.
Well, maybe somehow this is included in the Russell thing. Maybe somehow somebody was like, "Hey, we need another player to play with Russ. Russ ain't gonna go out there and be on the island." You saw Kevin Knox get dunked on.
So you're trying to say the next big three is going to be Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, and Russell Westbrook?
I didn't call it a big three. I'm just saying maybe I don't know. But New York, Knicks wise, you got to do something. You guys didn't really do anything, and so like you said, not to go far off the tangent. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets for making those moves because now the Warriors have D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, right. So that's different. But so I'll be honest with you. I was a little shocked to hear about D'Angelo Russell coming to the Warriors. From all indication I got was that they use it because they didn't want to get or leave or have KD leave without getting anything returned. So they got an all-star to come back, maybe trade him a little bit later down the line once Clay is fully back healthy and ready to play again. But I believe this move was strictly for the fact that they're building the Chase Center. The Chase Center will be open next year for business. They don't really want to go down into San Francisco with this new high-class, state-of-the-art arena and not have a formidable team to come out there and produce points. I mean,
look. The Lakers geared up right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know the Clippers were going to get Kawhi at the time that they got D'Lo, but you knew some other teams, and not for nothing, you can't sleep on Utah. They got Mike Conley over there, and they were already kind of tough, and so they may be a much better team this year. You know what I mean? You can't sleep on whatever Houston decides to do. They're still going to be a good team. You know what I mean? And so as the Warriors organization, if KD just would have left, and we had no superstars that we could afford to get, we'd have looked real bad. So I'm not mad at the move. It's just like you said, it's different.
I mean, you never know. You never know what could happen. Maybe this could be a blessing in disguise. We need scoring. I'll just say that. I mean, Steph can't do it. We can't have Steph trying to shoot 50 times a game. It's not going to work next year. I'm sorry, Warrior fans. I know you want to see it, but he still has to play the exact game that he played last year and the year before. Maybe a little bit different style, but he can't be forcing shots. Just because KD's gone and Clay's not playing does not mean that he needs to average 40 points a game. He needs to be preserved because he is an older player in terms of basketball years, and you don't want to burn him out. I mean, D'Lo is 23 years old. He can at least play some minutes for that and take over the lowest scoring.
And with a Draymond on the floor that likes to get assists, it should be good for D'Lo.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, look, what we have now is a completely different team. There's 8 new players on this roster. 8. That's crazy. It's coming from a team that just won a championship 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I got to give a shout out to Andre Iguodala and Shai Livingston for their efforts and everything that they did for this organization. It was a little bit kind of scandalous how they kind of push you out.
Yeah.
But
in all fairness, I assumed, I'm not going to speak for you, but I think you did too. I think a lot of us assumed they would retire after that season. And I think a lot of people in the Warriors front office thought that too.
Well, Sean, yes. Andre, no. Nobody's retiring with $17.5 million.
Well, yeah. No, not at all. Right. So he's going to get that money. And Sean Livingston has decided that he wants to still play, so he got waived. And we'll see where he ends up. I say likely a Clipper, possibly even a Laker.
Honestly, I think both of them will be either or. I think they both will be in LA, and I think Sean, just because he started his career out as a Clipper, and it would be fitting for him to end his career as a Clipper. And then as the same thing, I think Andre will probably go to the Lakers. That'd probably be a best fit for him. It's, maybe if they need defense over there. So you never know. I guess to finish out the free agency, because there was a lot of people that got moved. A lot of players got moved actually this year. Or not moved, I'm sorry. They went to different teams. Kemba Walker.
Yeah, I was gonna get that's exactly where I was going, was Boston. I right here on my paper was talking about Boston. So Kemba Walker, Boston, obviously Kyrie going to Brooklyn, left the point guard spot wide open. And so they put Kemba right in there.
Right.
What are your thoughts, feelings there? Are we gonna see, difference? Is it gonna be same?
I because the East is a little bit weaker, I think they might be around the same. I don't think they'll be a better team. I think they'll kind of take a step back in terms of win-wise, but I also think that they'll be around the same position because the East is weaker. They're not going to get over the hump with Kemba Walker. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I don't really have more to say with that because I like Kemba as a player in terms of watching him, but I don't think he can win any games for you.
So Gordon Hayward, second year back off of injury. We're not. What are we seeing there? I mean, Jason Tatum.
I think Tatum needs to take his game to another level. I think he needs to emerge as the star on that team.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, I think, will play very hard, and I think eventually he will want to be traded because I don't think that it fits with him and Tatum there at the same time.
Al Horford.
Al Horford is gone now. He's not on Boston, but he is
over
a member of the 76ers. Right, exactly. And he got paid again. Look, from everything I heard, Al Horford is like the best locker room, best teammate you could possibly have. I don't know how it equivalates to $103 million, but it does. So, I mean, Philly did get better with him. I will say that. They also signed Tobias Harris, which helps.
Yeah,
They did lose Jimmy Butler though
to my
to the Miami Heat. Look,
I signed Ben Simmons to a max deal though.
yeah,
Locked him in.
yeah, that's great. I mean, another player who can't really shoot or do anything other than he can do a lot, but he just can't shoot. So,
Somebody argued with me though when I brought up the fact that Ben Simmons can't shoot. They was like Jason Kidd got 3 max deals and he never could shoot till the end of his career.
Jason Kidd is third in the NBA all time in 3-point make.
Yeah, because he was also left wide open forever because he couldn't
Ben
shoot.
Simmons was left wide open every game. He didn't shoot. So you can't say that. At least Jason would shoot. So yeah. I mean, I give him that. But yes, I do think Philly is better. I do think that they are right now on paper the best team in the East. Because obviously Kawhi Leonard left the Toronto Raptors and Boston is a shell of himself. Well, take it back. See, that's a problem. I always forget about Milwaukee.
Me too. Everybody, that's why I had to write them down because I would have forgot about them as well.
Yeah, and that's the problem, I think, honestly, and that's probably why Giannis will probably leave. But I just never remember Milwaukee. They were number one team last year. I mean, I got to give them to them. They probably will be number one team this coming year in the East. I don't know. We'll see. They lost some good players too, but they also signed Robin Lopez's brother, or the brother of Brooke. So I mean, they got that. That's exciting.
The brother of Brooke.
Take twins reunited. That's exciting.
Yeah, and they got Giannis's brother.
Oh, it's fair.
Thanasis.
Yeah. Well.
So a couple other quick questions. Number one, who is your sleeper team on either coast? So who's your Western Conference sleeper team? Who's your Eastern Conference sleeper team? Let's start there, and then I got another question after
that. Utah.
Okay.
My sleeper team in the West. They're my sleeper team overall, actually. I think I'm actually going to try to go put a little dollar bills on that when I go to Vegas. Just because on the strength fact, like they got better in every position, but on top of that, they don't have superstar power driven team.
Yeah.
They don't need anybody can, Mike Conley doesn't need the ball and doesn't need to score, but he will score. You can't leave him open because he'll score. They got Bogdanovich or whatever his name is from Indiana, who is an excellent player. Yeah. An excellent player. And to put him at the 3 with Joe Ingles, as well as Rudy Gobert, and of course Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, they're gonna be all right.
I think they're gonna be a great team. I think Portland will be better. I wouldn't say a sleeper team, but I think they'll be better. And I mean,
sorry. Before we jump off the Portland topic, I did want to address this. Dame got on social media the other day talking about people making super teams or whatever, right? And he had that quote out saying, while everybody else is building teams, I want to be remembered for doing it myself. If you are CJ McCollum, how do you feel about that statement that Dame's saying he's doing it by himself?
No, he's calling you now. You don't think you're a star. That's what he thinks. He's doing it by himself. And I mean, that's messed up to say. I mean, obviously, I don't think that CJ takes it in any kind of way, but the same sense, I mean, I don't know. I guess he doesn't consider CJ.
And CJ carried some of the playoff games that they lost.
He did.
CJ carried some of the playoff games.
I'll say he carried them through the Denver series personally.
Yeah.
I mean, Dame didn't really have a great series that time. He carried them through that to get to play the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. But, yeah, I mean, look, I understand that Dame doesn't like to go out and recruit players and try to leave his team and try to, I admire the fact that he wants to stay in Portland because Portland is good. I think it would be better if some players would actually do that, would actually take pride in where they get drafted at and want to play and want to build something. But on the same sense, if there is player movement, you have to go out and recruit. You have to do that. You can't sit back. And I understand that as a man, pridefully, if you can get it done with your team, that'll probably mean way more to you than if you go join another person. Because let's be honest, everybody crucified Kevin Durant for leaving OKC to go play with the Warriors, but he has 2 championships. So what would you rather be? Would you rather be him staying in OKC by himself, or not by himself, or say with Russ, and not being a player or play with the person you want to play with and losing? Or would you rather, be Dame and just play all your life until you can see if you can get a championship and never achieve it?
Yeah, and there's no harm in doing a mix of both. I mean, the Warriors did a mix of both. They won the first one based off of like draft picks and regular moves. You know what I mean? We didn't have the KD. We had our 3 biggest stars were dudes that we drafted and stuck through it. You know what I'm saying? And then, we looked at it and we were realistic and said we wanted more championships. And so we had to go get a piece that brought wins in. And that's, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that, Dame. Like, everybody who watches basketball respects what you have done to this point. If you happen to get another superstar on your team, I don't think anybody's going to look at that sideways. Me personally, I'm not. But in also saying you're doing it by yourself, though, when we watched this last playoffs, you can't say that because CJ McCollum at the biggest moments was right there, bro. You can't say that you're doing it by yourself. That's just my point of it.
Right. And to kind of go off of everything about that, the new age of the NBA and the way it's going, players have all the, I guess, control over any situation. And that's over the organization and over, over Adam Silver, because if you really think about the situation, you have players now that are basically telling organizations a year after they sign them to big deals, big money, that they don't want to play for them anymore and they want to go play with their friends. Yeah. And organizations can't do anything about it. Kawhi Leonard, what he did in terms of basically telling the Spurs that he didn't want to play with them anymore because they messed up with him in the injury, he proved that it doesn't really matter what you do. I'm going to find my way to where I want to be,
where I want to
be. Get paid for it.
Yeah. And
it's not going to matter what you think. Paul George now has forced a trade twice on small market teams.
Here's the even more messed up part about it, though. Kawhi Leonard got where he wanted to be in a city that he wanted to play for and has a contract that has an option at the end of it. So even if he wants to get out of there, he could get out of there.
Exactly. So, I mean, the problem with this whole thing is that players now, it doesn't matter. And like I said, I respect the fact that Dame wants to stay and sign that huge deal with Portland. I mean, more power to him. But the fact of the matter is, eventually everybody's going to leave at some point. Somebody is going to leave. And I can say this forever. Portland is a beautiful place if you just visit it. Portland is not a place that people want to go play for. It's not. And so what's going to happen is if you do develop players that you do get, eventually if they get to a point where they are big enough to do it, they will leave.
Well,
it's hard. It's hard for I feel for all these organizations that are in these small market cities because they really don't have a chance now.
Well, and that I remember said I was going to ask you 2 things. That was my second thing. So looking at, we wrapped up, some of the major moves in NBA free agency. Some of these other teams, what does this mean? You know what I'm saying? Your Washington Wizards, your Detroit Pistons, you know what I'm saying? Your Minnesota Timberwolves, even Chicago should not be listed as a small market team, but because their organization has decided to tank and be trash and whatever, they too are kind of suffering. Charlotte, what are y'all gonna look like now? Yeah, y'all got Terry Rozier, but what else are y'all finna do? You know what I mean? So you look around the league. I think Atlanta and New Orleans are the only 2 teams that had bad years that have the possibility of coming up, just based off of drafts and if they can keep what they have together and maybe add a few pieces in the next year or 2. But other than that, these other small market teams, Phoenix, what are y'all going to do long term?
And right now,
OKC, you giving away everybody. That was the other point I wanted to make about OKC. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but okay, you let Paul George go. You trying to trade Russell Westbrook away for all these draft picks, but your only hope to even getting stars to come was that you had Russell and Paul George, and at the time, KD. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't have no superstars, and you want people to play in Oklahoma,
right? Well, yeah, and then that's the situation that they're going to have to deal with. They're going to have to basically draft a whole bunch of players that will, be on the level of like when they drafted KD or Russell Westbrook or when they drafted James Harden, to be on that level, because if you don't, these players are all going to leave eventually. You only have 3 or 4 years with them at the most to convince them that this is the place for them. Now, maybe after a certain amount of time they can do it, but a lot of people don't or won't do it once you see other people leaving, going somewhere. Perfect example I can give you. Right now, New Orleans looks like a good contender of a team. Why? Because Zion became there, and everybody wants to come and play with Zion. Derek Favors came there. JJ Redick is now there.
Yeah.
But they're only there because they have cap space and because they want to play with Zion, because they'll be on TV, because they'll get looked at a different way. Once Zion decides, I don't want to be in New Orleans, what's going to happen in New Orleans? Because they only got lucky because Anthony Davis, because they got the first pick when Anthony Davis decided to leave. Let's say they got the 4th pick and they got Darius Garland, who got picked. I think he got picked 4.
Right.
What happens now?
They definitely don't have any other players dying to come there if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Or what happens in a Phoenix if they have another year like they had last year, and next year, you know what I'm saying? You got Book up. I think Book's up. His contract's up next year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 2-3 years from now, DeAndre Ayton's contract is going to be up. If y'all don't pat some of these holes, them fools are leaving. Like,
right. And the only thing you could possibly do would probably be to overpay somebody, just so they could stay around. And I mean, that's never the move, because obviously if you overpay somebody that is not really worth it, the contract's gonna play or deal with itself. The person will turn into what you thought they were.
Washington
money won't matter.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, look what they're on the hook for. Yeah, they have two stars that are really, I wouldn't say irrelevant, but I mean, they're not the caliber of what they're getting paid for. John Wall has probably one of the biggest deals, I think, in NBA history. And he's not even playing because he hurt himself at home. You know what I'm saying? He'll be out for the whole next year. He didn't play last year, and he's not going to play. Bradley Beal is a good player, but he's not worth anything close to what he's getting now. I'm sorry, but that's what happens in the NBA, because you gave these guys too much movement. And I respect LeBron for being that businessman and setting the way for all these players. But I think to a certain extent, they're kind of taking it a little bit too far, because there has to be some kind of rule where maybe they change it to where, I think even owners too, because owners, it's not just the players. Owners have a part in this too, because owners will sit there and they'll sign a guy for a certain amount of money and he doesn't turn out to be what they think he is, and they'll be quick to move him too.
Yeah. So
it's not really fair, because you can sit here and say, oh, the players are doing this to the organizations. Well, organizations do the same thing to the players. There's got to be a situation to where if you sign a certain amount of deal, you have to play at least halfway, if not, 60% of your contract with that team that you signed for. Yeah. Somehow, some way, they have to figure that out in the collective bargaining agreement. If not, I mean, it's going to get worse. If you see what's happening now, it's only going to be 4 teams. Because the thing about it is, like we talked about before, they don't even care. These stars are so rich and famous, they don't even care about the money. People are signing for less just to go play where they want to. I mean, look, like I was talking about before, Kawhi Leonard, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he shouldn't have went to the Clippers, because I think that the team is, going to be one of the top teams in the league. But you just won a championship, and you just signed for less just to go be at home in LA. You have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. I'm sure you already have a home in LA. You could go there at any time you want to. I guarantee you they would have flown you.
That's why it's easier for them to take a little bit less, you know what I'm saying, to be at home, and you're going to get that. And again, for the bigger market teams or for the teams that people want to be at, it's going to be a good thing. For the small market teams, it's going to be horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll be in a reverse situation. You're going to have guys, again, taking less to go to your LAs, Miamis, maybe possibly even Texas, because there's no state tax and stuff like that. But then in Milwaukee, you're going to have to overpay somebody, you know what I'm saying, just to try to hopefully keep them in that same place. And it's going down a slippery slope. But we'll add that to a whole host of conversations that we'll have when the NBA season starts. We'll definitely talk about that more. We're definitely going to, when the NBA season gets closer in, we're going to look at things like load management, gameplay, That looks like it's going to be a real serious situation this season. As a fan, I don't want to see it. We will definitely talk about this coaches challenge as the NBA season gets closer. Hopefully, we'll get some more context around this rule. For those of y'all who don't know, the NBA has said that they're going to allow coaches to challenge certain calls. There's not a lot of details about it yet. I don't think they've really gone into a whole bunch of detail about how they're going to regulate this rule. But as you and I talked, there's got to be some strict parameters around.
Well, from what I heard, you get one. Each coach gets one. So I mean, and it can happen at any point in the game.
Even under the 2 minutes.
Yeah, it can happen at any point. So, like, let's say the first play of the game, I tip the ball to my teammate. My teammate runs down the court, goes up, he gets blocked. He thinks he gets fouled. My coach says, challenge that. You do it right there. 5 seconds in the game, you can do it. It can go all the way until whenever the game ends. But I think that they will probably still stick with the 2 minute, point. But you get one per game in terms of the challenge, in terms of whatever time you think you need to use it, you can use it. So I'm not. We talked about this earlier today, but I'm happier that you only get one. But
yeah.
It's still a lot, and it has to be.
What's reviewable though? Like, is a travel call reviewable? Is a foul call reviewable?
That I don't know. I know that charges and those certain fouls and certain things. Yeah, some things can be reviewed. I don't know, honestly, but what I did find out was it's only pending for a year. So if they don't like it, it doesn't work, they can get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump out and say I'm not a fan of it for a number of reasons. One being that I feel like with only one, it can't slow the game down too much. But shit, the game is the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, things happen.
Right.
If was a fifth, who knows? The Lakers would have won 4 in a row. I don't know. But anyway, LeBron wouldn't have got bounced out by the Spurs. Who knows? But we'll get more into that as the rest of the NBA season comes a little bit closer. Some other just sports news, since we're out here having this little update. As many of y'all know, the Big Three is out there in play at the moment, and some notable players got permanently removed from the Big Three, which to me is funny because not because the Big Three is a joke. I don't want to make it seem like I'm laughing at the Big Three, but it is recreational basketball for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And so for you to get kicked off of what is essentially a high-profile rec league team, Lamar Odom, Bonzi Wells, and Jermaine O'Neal, what the hell was y'all doing, bro? Like, what was y'all doing to get removed from the Big Three?
Well, I think that, just like you said, it's a rec league. They probably treating it as a rec league in terms of these guys ain't tripping off of whatever the pot is for the league. I don't know how much they get paid for this, but I don't think that they care. Unless they're just completely broke, which some of them might be, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to name any names, but the point is, I don't think they really care. I don't think they take it as serious as some might think it is. So, they might have done a little bit extracurricular, but I think maybe Ice Cube and their organization probably was like, we're not gonna have that. But I will say one thing. Shout out to the Big Three. I didn't see this being that good of a thing, honestly. When I first found out about it a few years ago, it's actually pretty good. For what it is, it's actually pretty good, So shout out to them for making something out of what I didn't think was going to be anything. A lot of old-time players are actually playing in it more than I thought that actually would. It's nice to see these guys that I grew up watching
still playing.
Still
playing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you feel as old.
Right. It makes me feel like it makes me feel as old, I guess, because watching them, it proves to me that I am what I am, and I'm that age too.
Yeah.
So
Like when I was
And
watching the baseball, they had the celebrity all-star game, and J.R. Smith, who decided to play shirtless, had a full gray beard. I was like,
yeah, I mean,
we getting
yeah.
old.
Hey, and that's why I say like it doesn't make me feel as bad watching the big three because you know what I'm saying, like I grew up watching them, like, but
Right.
watching LeBron at 35 doing windmill dunks doesn't make me feel good. Watching, you know what I'm saying, Amari, our big baby, and Amari Stoudemire barely get over the rim, I can deal with that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm good there.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Anything you can do, I can do probably worse, but not that worse. So I'm okay.
Yeah. So just rounding out this little summer update, couple other just um off-topic sports type thing. The Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend just happened. One of the most interesting home run derbies in a while, which is crazy. The man that hit the most home runs didn't win because he hit them all in the earlier rounds. That's something that may need to change in baseball. And then you got Justin Verlander out here saying that the balls are juiced, and it may just be because you've had 20 home runs hit off you already this season, Verlander, and you're getting old and you're losing your touch. I don't really know. And then shout out, like we said, to the women's U.S. soccer team. They won. They had their parade. They turned up. So congrats to them on their win.
Yeah, no, I mean, congratulations to them. I mean, that's amazing. The fact that they have to play in 2 days is unbelievably unfair. They should be able to go out and celebrate and party at least for a month. It's a big accomplishment. The baseball thing, I understand Verlander, but I don't. I mean, the thing about it is baseball is boring as hell. I'm just going to say it right now. We try to cover as much as we can with the situation. I'm not saying I don't like baseball. I do enjoy baseball a lot, especially when I go to the games. It's just hard to keep up with 162 games on TV, and the games are, 4-3. I'm sorry, it's
And they're
a
8
lot.
hours long.
Exactly. So the home run derby was refreshing for a change to see, actual action like that. Baseball got to figure it out. Red Manfred, and they got to figure it out because it's getting bad.
Yeah.
It's getting bad. If they juicing the balls, I don't know, steroid them up, give them whatever it needs because
that juice.
it is slowing down. They need to learn how to market their players like the NBA is doing. They need more. They need more outlets. They need more eyes on their sport, and the best way to do it is to appeal to the people, to the younger generation. Do different things to switch it up. Make them, let them. I hate the fact that they are not allowed to post anything on social media. I think it's stupid.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. This world is built off of social media right now. I know it's crazy to say, but I mean, you're watching this from social media probably. So there it is. My point is, get with the times. The NBA is ruling everything in terms of the coverage that they're doing.
Yeah.
The NFL is always king in sports, so you'll never beat that out. But if you expect people to make these Tuesday 1:30 games and be excited about it, you need to start doing things that will make people excited about it.
Yeah, and you've got to appeal to a broader audience, appeal to the older baseball fan base that is starting to get older, and I mean, I hate to say it, die off a little bit. You've got to appeal to these younger fans, and so that's on you. I'm not going to give you no free game, MLB. If you want to come call me, we could talk about it. I got some ideas though. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome to pay, and we could definitely talk about some marketing strategies for Major League Baseball. But yeah, y'all need to figure out how to get some excitement into that thing.
Yeah, let me say this because this is for everybody. It's all sports. Sports is entertainment. I understand that we sit here and we talk on this thing about sports and we all watch the games and we all talk about. That's what everything is about. It's just about entertainment. It's just like if you go to the movies and go see a show, you go there and you have time to talk about it and express how you feel to your friends or whoever. You can't do that with baseball. Nobody wants to sit there and talk about, this long 18-inning game that was 1-1. You need to you have to do more for the culture. You have to do more for people to want to buy into this. I mean,
you gotta let them. You gotta let them bat flip. You gotta let them talk
exactly.
to each other. You gotta let it go a little bit. You know what I mean?
The sacred thing is out. Like, forget. I understand like the sacred rules of the game. Please, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like the people back in the day when the game was so sacred were doing things that people wouldn't even believe. People, you know what I'm saying?
Put the little tar underneath the thing, and you know what
exactly.
I mean?
So drinking in the dugout. Like, don't give me all this. Oh, it's unpure. It's making the game unpure. No, it's not. It ain't doing nothing. It's just making the game more interesting. So stop trying to be old school with everything. Baseball, get it together. Like, seriously.
Yep. So, with on that note, I think that kind of wraps up all of what's going on right now in sports for the summer. Obviously, NFL camps are going on. I just got an alert that my 49ers kicker refuses to report to camp because he wants to be traded.
All right. Go, Robbie, go.
He wants to be traded. Look, it's infectious. It's happening all over the league. Antonio Brown sat out Le'Veon Bell sat out a whole year to protest and didn't want to be on the team, and he got paid for it. So it's happening everywhere. Kickers have even decided that, you know what, I'm going to hold out till I am where I want to be and I get paid what I want to get paid. So, be on the lookout, though, for the rest of the summer. We may have one other summer Hella Flagrant update for y'all before football season starts, but you can guarantee in August we will be back. Hella Flagrant, the podcast, season 3. In the meantime, in between time, make sure you're checking us out online at The Flagrant Foul on Instagram, theflagrantfoul.com, still going and kicking. Hella Flagrant for the T-shirts. And then, Hella Flagrant DM, Sean.B.Flagrant. Make sure you check us out.
Yeah, man. I mean, we do this for y'all. Little short summer, episode just because we had to touch on free agency. But just like D said, man, we'll be back for at the end of the summer, season 3. NFL season's right upon us. I know y'all all waiting for that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to do something bigger and better for y'all. Most likely we're going to be live from a different spot. You know what I mean? We'll give you a surprise for that. You know what I'm saying? You got to tune in to see what we're going to be at. Definitely going to have some fun out there. But, keep on it. Like you said, www.theflagrantfoul.com. You know what I'm saying? For all stories, this video, obviously. And then, of course, www.hellaflagrant.com for all the apparel that we got, all the shirts. We're going to try something new for y'all for the new season. You feel me? Everything. Like I said, do this for y'all.
Yeah, on that note, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all summer. We're going to holler at y'all. Peace.